Have you ever wondered why our ears pop, especially when flying? It's a sensation we've all experienced, whether on a plane, diving deep underwater, or even just driving through hilly terrain. Suddenly there's a slight discomfort, a feeling of fullness in your ears, followed by a distinct popping sound. The answer lies in the fascinating realm of science. It's not a sign of something wrong with your health, it's a sign that your body is doing exactly what it should to keep you comfortable and safe. Our bodies perform this clever little trick to help us adapt to changing environments. The popping sound is simply your body's way of saying, "Hey, I've got this. I'm adjusting to the new pressure." At this point you might be wondering, okay, but how does it do that? Well, that's a question for the science books, and we're about to crack them open. The process involves some intricate anatomy and a bit of physics. It's a beautifully complex system that keeps us comfortable and safe. Let's delve into the science behind it. To understand why our ears pop, let's look at the structure of our ears. Our ear, an architectural marvel, consists of three main parts: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. Each of these plays a crucial role in how we hear and maintain balance. The outer ear, the visible part, is designed to capture sound waves and funnel them down a pathway called the ear canal. The sound waves meet the eardrum at the end of this canal, a membrane that vibrates in response. Beyond the eardrum lies the middle ear, a small air-filled space housing three bones, the malleus, incus, and stapes. These amplify the vibrations from the eardrum and transfer them to the inner ear. Here the vibrations turn into electrical signals that our brain interprets as sound. Also in the inner ear is the vestibular system, for maintaining balance. Within the middle ear is a little hero called the Eustachian tube, a narrow tube that connects the middle ear to the back of the throat. It equalizes the air pressure on either side of the eardrum. If the pressure isn't balanced, it can affect our hearing and cause discomfort. The Eustachian tubes normally stay closed but open during yawning, swallowing, or chewing to allow airflow into or out of the middle ear, keeping the pressure equal on both sides of the eardrum. When the air pressure changes rapidly, like during takeoff or landing on a plane, the Eustachian tubes work overtime to equalize the pressure, resulting in a sensation in your ears. The popping sound is associated with the balance of pressure. Now let's delve into the captivating concept of air pressure and altitude. Air pressure is the force exerted by the weight of air particles in the atmosphere. At sea level, the air pressure is greater due to the compression of air particles by the weight of all the air above them. As we ascend to higher altitudes, there's less air overhead, resulting in lower pressure. However, our bodies are designed to function optimally at sea level atmospheric pressure. As we climb higher, our bodies need to adapt to ensure the pressure within is balanced with the external pressure. This is where the Eustachian tube comes into the picture, maintaining air pressure equilibrium on both sides of the eardrum. If the pressure isn't balanced, the higher pressure pushes on the eardrum, causing discomfort and sometimes pain. Now let's consider a scenario where you're on a plane ascending to cruising altitude. As the plane climbs, the external air pressure decreases rapidly, causing a pressure imbalance. But your body knows how to handle this. As you swallow or yawn, the Eustachian tube opens, allowing some air to escape from the middle ear and equalize the pressure. The pop you hear is the sound of the Eustachian tube opening. Therefore, when your ears pop, it's just your body maintaining balance. So, it's all about the rapid changes in altitude that we experience during such activities. Our bodies, including our ears, are suddenly thrust into an environment with a significantly different atmospheric pressure. When we start to descend from a high altitude, our trusty Eustachian tube steps in to help. It opens to allow air to flow out of the middle ear, bringing the pressure back to equilibrium, alleviating the pressure and popping sensation. Let's start with some methods that don't require any external tools. An effortless method is yawning. A genuine or pretended yawn can open up the Eustachian tubes. Another technique is swallowing. The act of swallowing engages the muscles around your Eustachian tubes, helping them to open. Therefore, drinking fluids during your flight is recommended. Also, chewing gum is a traditional remedy to counter ear popping. The movement of chewing activates the muscles near the Eustachian tubes, keeping them open. Saliva production from chewing prompts frequent swallowing, aiding in opening these tubes. For those who suffer more frequently from ear discomfort due to pressure changes, there are specific products available. Filtered earplugs can help balance the pressure against your eardrums. They are designed to slow down the pressure change affecting the ear, allowing your Eustachian tubes more time to adjust. Over-the-counter decongestant nasal sprays or oral decongestants are options if your Eustachian tubes are blocked to a cold or allergies. Remember, medical consultation is important before using these. Experience the freedom of clear ears. Discover 5 techniques to unblock your ears. The Toynbee maneuver, swallow with your nose pinched. The Valsalva maneuver, gently blow out while pinching your nose. The Frenzel maneuver, clench your throat muscles while pinching your nose and trying to exhale. The Lowry technique, a combination of Valsalva and Toynbee. Lastly, the Edmonds technique, swallow and blow out simultaneously. Hear clearly with these ear unblocking methods. If none of these techniques work for you, there may be hope still. One Redditor writes, "I was on a transatlantic flight once where a little kid was screaming because their ears wouldn't pop and it was hurting. The young flight attendant didn't know what to do. Luckily, there was a more experienced, older flight attendant working in first class. She came back with a can of Coke. She instructed the child to chug the can in one go, and then to hold their mouth shut as hard as they could. About 30 seconds later the kid burped, but because they were holding their hands over their mouth, holding really tight, the burp came out of their nose. Ears popped, problem solved. So, chug a can of Coke as quickly as you can. Keep your mouth firmly closed and let the inevitable burp out through your nose." If this doesn't work, another Redditor added, "I recommend going to a drugstore and grabbing some Sudafed. That should decongest your sinus and will help equalize the pressure in your ear." Another says, "Ditto on the Sudafed. It will help dry out sinuses and any fluid in the ears, which should help relieve the pressure." Did you know that some people are born with or learn the ability to equalize the pressure in their ears by voluntarily flexing open their Eustachian tube? That's a cool trick. One Redditor claims, quote, "Since I was a kid, I could do it. I didn't know what I was doing until I Googled something along the lines of flexing muscle to pop ears, and while Googling, I read a thread where some people couldn't do it and one person even gave up on scuba diving," unquote. Another person says, quote, "I thought everybody could do it." Speaking of scuba diving, be sure to keep an eye out for our upcoming video about deep-sea diving occupations. Unfortunately, some people have almost the opposite situation and can't seem to open their Eustachian tubes, even with all the maneuvers and techniques available. Sometimes due to chronic ear infections, sometimes due to Eustachian tube dysfunction, also known as ETD, often leading to severe discomfort and nausea. For this chronic condition, making it very hard or impossible for some to naturally open their Eustachian tube, there is a surgical procedure called Eustachian tube balloon dilation. Some find relief with this procedure and some don't have as much luck. So those of us who are capable of performing this seemingly insignificant function naturally should all feel a little more grateful the next time we're driving across mountainous terrain. To conclude, ear popping is a normal physiological phenomenon which signifies your body's adaptation to changes in pressure. Having these techniques and products at hand can help manage this sensation.